How's it going, guys? June 2nd. Can't believe we're already in June. 9:47 a.m. here on the East Coast. So, some of my vlogs are going to be more correlated to leadership, and I'll be pulling some stuff um, that I have learned while I've been in that class, and give you guys some insight on some other important things that I think might be able to relate to uh, mentoring people and leadership alike. So this first vlog, I owe you two vlogs. Um, one for yesterday, one for today. I didn't get a chance to put one up, but this first vlog will be on certainty. So this would be something that I just recently came up with in during class. So I wanted to talk about briefly about that and mention a couple notes on it. So certainty. In class, we learned that this states that moral exemplars are sure of what they believe and take responsibility for acting on their convictions. This is by Colby and Damon, two pretty good leadership authors. So we had to essentially talk about a real life experience, and I talked about one that had to do with my military experience while I was serving in the Army. A lot of my experiences I can tie to that because especially when it comes to certainty. I had a pretty interesting story when it came to that. So I'll read you guys what I wrote back. So my real life example of this comes from a military experience while I was serving in the Army. I was headed to a non-commissioned officer of the quarter board for which I was a sole competitor. So there was nobody else in this competition except myself. I was competing against myself. So I thought I had it in the bag. So just to give you guys some pre-context. So I was given the wrong information to study, and I found out moments before the board was to begin. So you can imagine the fear of me finding that out a couple minutes before I was going to go to this board. And again, this talk has to do with certainty. So as I walked into the board, I was told just to act as if I was certain of my answers, to which I replied, Roger that. So in the military, and I've spoken on this before, you have to, even if you don't know the answer, you got to act as if you do know the answer. So as the board began, I immediately knew that I was ill prepared but acted with confidence. So I had an extreme amount of confidence. More so, I remember I was wearing a uniform. It was about to be transitioned out. But I didn't care because I thought I knew the information so well. Even though I know prior to going into the board, the information that I was studying was wrong, I still had a level of confidence should things go my way. So long story short, I failed to win the board even though there was no competition. So this was a definite kick in the ego. I was competing against myself and lost because of how terrible I did. And they made me do stupid things in that board that I've been to many boards, and they've never made me do these types of things. But they made me like get on the ground and basically almost roll around in my uniform, my dress uniform, because of how badly I was doing. And maybe they thought that I would just be given this NCO of the quarter, um, and I would win it just because there was no other competition, and they decided to vote against that. So the silver lining here is that the following month I had to go to a promotion board. They wanted me to go to the NCO of the quarter board before going to a promotion. And so I had to fight to go to this promotion board, and I did things in the manner that they wanted me to, and I told them what had happened, and I told them that the wrong information was given to me. Unfortunately, that information never made it to the board people, but it did make it back to my my chain of command. So, like I said, the following month I went to a promotion board, and I was certain of the material for which I had to study. So I studied the right material this time. So sitting in front of almost the same people, I was a little nervous, but I didn't want to show that. In fact, I volunteered to go first. There was a bunch of us waiting to go into this promotion board, and they asked if anybody wanted to go first. I volunteered. So I went first, and again, when I was in this board, I had a level of confidence and certainty in the material that I had studied. So I ended up nailing that board and getting promoted. And I was really excited about that because I know that if I had known the material at the NCO or the quarter board, that I would have nailed that one too. I mean, I knew the material inside and out, forward and backwards. So there was no getting around that to me. I would cut up my own flashcards, and I'd carry literally hundreds of flashcards in my pockets on a daily basis to study whenever I had downtime. So again, both times I believed and took responsibilities for my actions because I was certain about my convictions. But I have learned and grown a lot from just that individual experience whenever it does come to certainty. They were telling us, even that I didn't know the material, to act as if I did, and that maybe my confidence will get me through that first initial board, which I failed to perform in. But on the second board, where I knew the material and I ensured that the material was right, I was able to get promoted. So that'll be it for this first vlog. Again, certainty ties a lot to leadership. I was being promoted to a higher rank, I believe E6 staff sergeant, which required more leadership. It required some more time in service, some time spent as a sergeant to get to staff sergeant. So in the leadership arena, being certain of what you're doing in your actions and taking responsibility for those actions is very important. And even if you don't know the information, sometimes saying what you best think is the right answer is what you go with, even if you're not 100% sure that that is the right answer. Although that backfired on me, I knew why it backfired. It was because I was given the wrong information to study. But I still took responsibility for my actions, and even though I knew some of the answers that were coming out of my mouth were absolutely incorrect, I still stood there with confidence. And it was a good learning experience for me. I know that they probably appreciated my confidence, but they didn't appreciate my lack of intelligence and my lack of seriousness for going to that board. So needless to say, for that next following promotion board, I did come in the new dress blue uniform. I was in Army Greens for the NCO or the quarter board, and I think they ended up taking me a little bit more seriously, and hopefully they didn't remember me. I mean, I was in a completely different uniform. Yeah, my face was the same, but they see a ton of faces on a daily basis, so I was trying to use that to my advantage. So again, the gist of this is to kind of be certain how certainty plays into your life, how it can be important whenever you are being a leader and trying to lead from different angles and from different perspectives. And whenever you're being judged on being a leader, is very important that you show a level of certainty. So that'll be it for the first vlog for today. I got a second one coming up here, and I'll be doing some more here on these leadership things as I agree to post vlogs for my final that have to do with leadership and also with mentoring. But I think these two will go hand in hand, both with leadership and mentoring, and you guys can pull out some good information from this to apply to your daily lives. So, still at 67 subscribers, I believe. Let me take a quick look. So I believe I'm still at 67 subscribers. I did hit over 50,000 views. Was trying to get to 75 for the last 2 months, I believe, and so we'll set that new goal for this month. I did have some other goals to reach a goal weight of 190 last month. Not that I'm like overweight. I just think for my size, my frame, I think that I'd be a lot better off at, let's say, 180, 175 at the absolute smallest. But I believe my last weight was at 192, so I was pretty close to that goal weight. But again, we'll try to get to the goal weight of 190, and I'll see if I can do a reflection vlog, but that's just to give you guys some insight of that. I still am maintaining an average of 1 video a day uploaded. Although I don't get to post them necessarily every day, I do still average one a day. So again, I appreciate those guys who watch, who consistently watch, and leave me feedback and comments and everything alike. I do appreciate all that. So I will see you guys on the next one.